From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LALATE as a world exclusive about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 was delivered last night on LALATE, the news website. The second world exclusive as the Democratic leaders tell viewers of this channel that negotiations are near complete on the inclusion of a monthly stimulus check into the fourth stimulus recon that will pay $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000. The new world exclusive delivered in that report suggests that Pelosi's office advocated for a bigger check per month but couldn't get it, and that couldn't get it for 12 months but got it for 6 months. Moreover, that the children newborn to 17 won't get a check because they're getting the CTC check elsewhere in this package. I'll explain that in this recording. Then we cut it to the big exciting details of the first 645 pages of that reconciliation budget bill. Checks of all kinds like workers, seniors, and also bicycles and college students. Checks cluster number 2. Checks for staying at home if you have a pregnant spouse. And check number 3, prescription medication and free internet. It's deliciousness and it's all happening today. Then we'll be cutting to the big surprise as a fourth stimulus heats up with the addition of an additional $13 billion of third stimulus. Yes, $13 billion landing in cities and counties and states for third stimulus to be paid out for rent, utilities, and food. We'll be going over shortly the debt ceiling limit at the end of this video and fifth stimulus. But boy, people said you weren't going to get anything. They said it was all about roads and bridges. We advocated. This channel stepped up, and as a family, we got it done. We got it done, and history is in the making. I hope people realize what you as Purple Hawks have done together with this channel, because the Democratic caucus has come together and their staffers say they're inserting a stimulus check monthly. The toast is toasted, the butter is buttering, and the history is being made on LA. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day across the coast. I'm glad you're joining me. It's a little bit warm, but it's our last warm day here in Southern California. Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how the weather is. If you missed it last night, LA, the news website, which is now in its third decade of reporting, delivered the world exclusive as staffers of this congressional offices of both Democrat and House members reported to viewers this channel negotiations are near complete on the inclusion of a monthly stimulus check in the fourth stimulus recon. That will be monthly, and now pay $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000 running for 6 months. The new details covered in that report, that world exclusive, were that children 17 to newborn won't be included because they're getting the CDC check. That's going to be covered later in this video. And that Pelosi's office and other offices like Elizabeth Warren were trying to get bigger monthlies of $1,400 and up to 1 year, but couldn't get everyone to agree on that amount. Let's go to the big exciting details is, of course, the first 645 pages of that reconciliation budget bill. Checks for everyone, including seniors and workers. I'll be going over all those checks in this recording. I'll also be going over cluster number 2, which are checks for if you have to stay at home because your spouse is pregnant. Then cluster number 3, checks for your home. It checks for vehicles, checks for workers. There's lots of checks. I'll be going over the debt ceiling limit, what you need to know about what that debt ceiling limit means and doesn't mean for your benefits, your stimulus, and more. And then we'll be cutting to fifth stimulus. It's a big day with so much happening, but remember, the world exclusive start here, and the history is made here. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. This is a family that's making things happen. People 6-7 months ago said, I don't know. I said, it's going to happen. I told you where to push, how to push, who to push with. And now things are happening. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. The link is under the video. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Let's get right into the world exclusive. Delivered last night on LA, the news site. The world exclusive is that Senate and House Democratic offices told viewers of this channel exclusively nonstop over the last few days that this is what the situation is. Number one, insertion of a stimulus check is near complete for drafting in the reconciliation budget bill. Number two, that the number of checks will be monthly. And that number three, that the payout will likely be $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for 6 months. This comes after this channel led the drive, the forefront, the history-making push for that inclusion. People said nothing was going to ever come to you. It was only roads and bridges, that there was no money for checks, there was no money for you, that there was never going to be anything. I said, pick up the phone and advocate, and it started with WR. Longtime viewer of this channel picked up the phone and advocated to Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, 8 months ago. Advocated why he needs it, and Senator Chris Coons' office said, I'm doing a stimulus check monthly. I delivered the world exclusive, and still people thought, it's just one office. It's just one office. It's never going to happen. I said, you know what? You just don't listen. And I said, listen to what Bernie Sanders is saying. At that time, I said, Bernie Sanders is the chairman of the Budget Committee. And as the chairman of the Budget Committee, he's going out and he's saying, unlike prior budget chairman, I like to get out amongst the people when I'm writing a budget bill. I said, that means he wants you to advocate. He wants to hear from you. Pick up the phone and advocate. And Brother Joshua, a longtime viewer of this channel, picked up the phone and advocated and called up and said, I need it. And Bernie Sanders' office said, yes. He's inserting a stimulus check, $1,000 to $1,400, 3 to 6 months is what Sanders wanted at the time, but he needed you to support him and advocate, and I delivered that world exclusive, and then people said, well, it's just Bernie. It's just Bernie. I said, it's not just Bernie. And at that time, people said, what's going on? I said, I'm turning off the comments. I'm turning off the comments because we're focusing on what we need to do, and we do not need people that are running a fake narrative tarnishing the focus of what we're doing. And it's at that point the floodgates opened. The wonderful comment from Donnie, who picked up the phone and called Bernie Sanders' office, advocating for a stimulus check, saying, this is what my family needs, and I needed to get better and get better to where I am. Here's this incredible comment. I needed to get to everything that's going on. I need for my water bill and more. And Sanders' office saying stimulus check MSC. Hurricane Tina enduring everything she's endured, picking up the phone and advocating, and being told by Sanders' office, yes, MSC. Caroline, always on the morning countdown show, picking up the phone saying, you know what, people are losing their homes. What are you doing here? They're losing everything they got. Sanders' office saying, yes, MSC. Multiple stimulus check is what MSC stands for. And Yaya, everything she's endured, picking up the phone and calling Ron Wyden's office. And Ron Wyden, of course, had said he's doing a stimulus check, but Wyden's office saying he'll not only do a stimulus check, but may insert SS 200. The advocacy continued as I told viewers, pick up the phone and call not one, but 3 offices, 4 offices. And Will heard me calling Schumer, Sanders, and Warren in one day. And Warren saying she's doing it. Elizabeth Warren's office telling viewer Will that she will be doing $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months. This is consistent with the reporting on LA News last night that a lot of people wanted $1,400 a month but couldn't get it from all the Democrats. That's why it's going to be $1,000 a month. It was Larica's comments that I found the most compelling because she told us that Bob Casey's office is inserting in there, but that the negotiations are near finalized. This is Larica's comment from a week ago. Then I said, pick up the phone and go over to AOC, Jayalapal, Omar, and Pelosi's offices and talk to them why you need it. And Paul heard me. Called up AOC's office last Friday, and AOC said $1,000 a month for 12 months after the first month of 2000. Janice, who's always in the live chats in the morning, picked up the phone, called Jayalapal, and they confirmed a monthly stimulus check. By the weekend, we had Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, Wyden, all confirming exclusively to viewers of this channel they're inserting a monthly stimulus check provision in the $3.5 trillion reconciliation budget bill. We had AOC and Omar as well. And then the advocacy took another level when Margaret picked up the phone and broke down in tears on a staffer's phone call, and the staffer breaking down in tears as well. Another viewer advocating so vigorously that the staffer broke down in tears, saying that I've lost everything. I've lost my husband. I've had 10 surgeries. I'm raising 2 teenage children. And I'm on SSI and SSDI. I need this. The real breakthrough also came from longtime viewer Mark. Got Pelosi's office on the phone on Monday, and Pelosi's office saying they're near finished negotiating. It's going to be $1,000 a month after the first month of 2000, 6 to 12 months. Later thereafter, I learned that it'll be 6 months. Then Paul picking up the phone and calling Omar's office. This is what's new at Mornings today. Over the last 2 days, I've been telling viewers to call Omar because that's the last part of the equation that we have not been pushing with. And Paul called Omar's office. She said $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000 at the 6-month mark. Exactly what I've been reporting. Then Ida calling up in a separate phone call to Omar's office, getting confirmation, $2,000, the first month, $1,000 for 6 months. There you go. And then Lynn Glenn calling back to Jayalapal's office, again, the confirmation. At that point, Omar, Jayalapal, AOC, and Pelosi. The world exclusive you're only hearing on this channel is that Pelosi's office confirming to viewers this channel in separate conversations on separate days that Pelosi's near finish on negotiations of the insertion of a stimulus check. Dragon also made the phone call as well and spoke to Pelosi's office late yesterday. $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000 running 6 months. That Pelosi wanted to pay $1,400, couldn't get the whole Democrat caucus to agree to it, and that it was unlikely to do 12 months because it's $3.5 trillion. Children 17 to newborn won't be included because they're getting the CTC check, which I'm going over right now. As we go to the first 645 pages of the reconciliation budget bill starting right now, it's important to understand that everything in the reconciliation budget bill is not COVID related. So you do not have to endure anything for COVID. Let's go over the first 645 pages. Then I'm going to go over cluster number 2's checks, then the third cluster checks. I got a lot of checks to show you still in this video. Stay the final 15 minutes. There's a lot happening in this recording. The first 645 pages, the checks are hazard pay, checks for seniors, checks for workers, bikes, cars, trucks, education, and $51,000 of MSC. Let's start with hazard pay. This channel has been the biggest advocacy place for hazard pay on the planet since 2020, with no less than 500 videos advocating why we need hazard pay for essential workers. We got into third stimulus, and now will be lifetime under fourth stimulus. They're taking an old tax code called the Earned Income Tax Credit, broadening the eligibility so more people qualify, and increasing the amount. How about checks for caring for seniors? Big surprise. From Representative Richard Neal, head of the Ways and Means Committee, he got it in the 645 pages of the bill released. Those 645 pages reveal that if you care for an elderly person like a care provider, you can get up to $4,000 a year. On the other side, if you care for a young child, up to $4,000 a year as well. Well, how about money for college students? There's grants in there for you. They're grants directly to the university, some directly to you, and they're going to make the Pell's grant tax-free. What about $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks, MSC? Yes, it's in those 645 pages. If you're a parent of a child in a low-income household and that child has just been born, you will get up to $300 a month every month that you're eligible per child. So if that child and the family stay within the zone of eligibility, that's up to $300 a month, every year for up to 18 years, which is $51,000. Then there's money in there for the home. Yes, if you have a home in a low-income community, the federal government will give you grants to repair the home. Deliciousness. Then big money for bikes, cars, and trucks. These are all electric, made by the major U.S. auto manufacturers. First, a bicycle, up to 15% of the purchase price provided to you by the federal government for any purpose of which you buy the bike for, business or personal. Then a vehicle for personal use, up to $7,500 for the purchase price of the vehicle for personal use. Business use, a little bit more for the vehicle, and then electric truck for business use, a little bit more as well. In the second cluster, we'll be going over 12 more checks that are massive payouts and up to $1,700 a week. The third cluster we're going to go over has some automatic checks and really a world exclusive you've never seen anywhere else. An additional $107 billion that's coming to you because it was ruled can't go somewhere else. Wow. But first, here's a preview of something coming up later in this video. $13 billion is going out to the cities, counties, and states this week for rent, utility, and mortgage assistance under third stimulus. This is huge. If you're a member of this channel, I hope you are. The link is under the video. You get this in the newsletter every night. It's the Treasury announcement. $13 billion from third stimulus is going out for rent, utilities, food, and mortgage in every city, state, county, whether it's red, blue, rich, or poor. Treasury is happy to provide these state and local governments with the additional resources to support Americans in time of need. I'm going to go over this later in the video. But let's get some more checks. Let's first, however, go over the first 645 pages of that recon. What does that represent? It represents just the first few hundred pages of what could be a bill into the 8,000s of pages. How do they agree upon this? Democratic senators with Democratic House members behind closed doors, in their offices, on the telephone, having a cup of coffee. They're not negotiating on the House floor, not on the Senate floor, not on TV, not on C-SPAN, not on TikTok. Once they agree upon the provision, they say go write it. What do you think about the 15% for the bike? I like it. Go write it. What do you think about the grant for the college students? I like it. Go write it. And the 645 pages are the first pages they said go write it. Cluster number 2 and cluster number 3 are going to get written. They just haven't agreed yet upon the exact numbers. Now let's get to cluster number 2. Here are some big checks, and it starts with paid family and paid medical leave. Paid family leave is you have to stay home because your wife is pregnant. Paid medical leave is you have to stay home because your son broke his leg. How much does it pay? A lot. Deliciousness. Under third stimulus, it would pay up to $1,700 a week. Yes, a week. If you make $70,000 or more per year, let's split it in half. $35,000 a year, $800 a week. Let's split in half again. If your annual salary is $15,000 a year, $400 a week. Yes, a lot of money. Then checks for childcare. Then checks for household tax credit. Then checks for weatherizing your home. Yes, the second check for the home in this recon. Weatherizing in your home, definitely needed, especially when there's purple hawks on the roof. What is weatherizing your home? You're in a hurricane area, a tornado area, or an area prone to fires. Then checks for seniors like dental, vision, hearing. More about this in the third cluster. And then checks for education again. Free pre-community college and then tuition-free community college across the country. This is very well needed because there's a very popular community college class now offered called What the Hell is LATE Saying? I don't understand his accent. 101. They talk funny out there in LA. I don't understand them. So yeah, you can take that class, pardon my French, and you'll understand my strange accent. There you go. And then checks for green energy. Wow. Lots of checks. So where are those House members and Senate members? They're in session. They're in session. If you're a long-time viewer of this channel, you know that means nothing to us because they're negotiating behind closed doors, not in session, not on the House floor, not on the Senate floor, but having a cup of coffee on the phone or in staff meetings, getting these final 600 file pages of multiple thousand-page bill done. Let's turn to the third cluster. Here's some more checks. And this is the one where a $107 billion world exclusive is delivered for this channel. There are checks for free school meals for all, checks for cheaper prescription medication, checks for farmers, checks for free internet, checks for clean energy, checks for workers, like independent contractors, checks for seniors, like checks for lowering eligibility age for Medicare, checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing care. Here's the world exclusive. Late Friday, a quiet announcement came out that the Senate parliamentarian ruled one of the provisions in cluster number 3 cannot be there. It's a check for something that doesn't concern you. That's why I never delivered on this channel in the recordings. It was a check for the Judiciary Department. Well, guess what? Your boy went through his notes, and I went and looked up how much that check was worth. Now that was removed, and it was worth $107 billion, which means instead of judiciary, you will be allocated additional $107 billion across these incredible programs. Wow. 2 of the checks in this third cluster are deliciousness because they're automatic. The president loves it. This is the president's cluster, and I like it as well. The first one is cheaper prescription medication. Let's say you go to the pharmacy on a Monday, take two $20 bills out to pay for a prescription. This would slash prescription prices in the bill. Let's say the bill becomes law later that week, and when you go to refill, you may only have to take out one $20 bill. Keep it an extra $20 bill in your wallet. Then free internet. Yes, the federal government is going to give big money to cities, counties, and states so that they can run their own free internet company. T-Mobile, the sirloin operation. Yes. So you reach out to T-Mobile and say, hey, can I get that free internet? Yes. The username and password for the Wi-Fi? Yes, sir. It's SCARF. Scarf 911. There you go. In the second half of this video, we'll be going over the big world exclusive, more about this world exclusive only heard on this channel, with the insertion of that MSC provision, everything you need to know, and everything that is happening with Omar's office, because that is the final equation. We'll be cutting back to the big exciting details of third stimulus with an additional $13 billion of money coming out from the federal government to you. I'm going to show you why that is big money for you and why suddenly the nonprofits are paying massive sums of money to viewers of this channel. And then we'll be cutting back over to the debt ceiling limit for just a minute and fifth stimulus. It's a big morning. And the news starts here, the world exclusive starts here, and the history starts here. Stay with me. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues live from Santa Monica this beautiful morning of Mornings LA. We'll be going over more of the world exclusive broke last night on LALATE the news side. As LALATE the news site revealed that negotiations are near finalized on the inclusion of a stimulus check provision that would run monthly, says multiple staff offices to viewers of this channel, including Pelosi's office to no less than 3 separate viewers of this channel. We'll be going over more about what this means for you and what you need to push for as well. We'll be cutting back over to the debt ceiling limit briefly and fifth stimulus also briefly. But we'll be focusing extensively on this big money that's available now under third stimulus. It's a lot of money, and the nonprofits suddenly doing God's work once again. It's a great morning, and I'm excited you're here, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. This is the place where history's made. People said you weren't going to get anything. People said no one was going to help you. I brought you together. I showed you where to push. I showed you where to help, and this is why things are happening. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Stay with me later today with noontime at 11 a.m., then afternoons LALATE at 1, 3, and 5 o'clock is evenings LALATE, and shows at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11:30 tonight. Boy, it's a big day, but the excitement is absolutely heating up with this additional cash infusion of $13 billion. The federal government is setting out another $13 billion on the third stimulus for your rent, your internet, and your mortgage assistance. This is huge because this money will be everywhere for every state, whether red, blue, or rich or poor. Let's go over all the incredible details of this right now, starting with the rent. The numbers for these monies have gone up 200 to 400% in less than a month. Purple Hawks are really doing incredibly well. When we looked at rent no less than a month ago, it looked like this. Purple Hawk, have you become one? You better. Purple Hawks were getting $20,000 to $27,000. Late last week, Jen got nearly $40,000. 2 other viewers got over $35,000. Then when we look to the monies for utilities, Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. That's a growth of 300% in a month. Then when we look at the money for SNAP, the numbers have gone up to $21,000. That's a growth of 400%. I'm going to show you how you get this big money right now. Get that phone, pen, and paper ready. First, we're going to get some money for rent, utility, mortgage assistance, and SNAP. I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. Reach out to all 6. They have different eligibility. They have different pots of money. Then listen to the keywords I say in this video. And then watch what I say about the nonprofits. All right, here you go. You're going to reach out to the following 6 places. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage utility assistance because of COVID. There you go. All these are detailed in the daily newsletter sent out to members of this channel every night from me to you. If you haven't become a member, the link is under the video. Let's go over the 6 places again. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, and State Housing Authority. Now, this is what's a critical ingredient here, is that members are delivered a copy of that Treasury newsletter that says, Treasury news statement, that says we're sending out another $13 billion. I want you to read that so that you know what's going on, so that when you call up to your city, county, and state, if they say we're out of money, then tell them about this. And if they say, we don't have it yet, ask, can I be on the waiting list or can I call you tomorrow? They 100% will get the money. You want to be first in line because the money will come there and it will be gone quickly. It's $13 billion, but it's also not $13 billion. I mean, it's also not a lot of money because it can be used up very quickly. Then the money for utilities. I want you to reach out to all your utility companies. So if you have 5, reach out to all 5. The big surprise has been the nonprofits. This channel made hundreds of videos in fall 2020 and early 2021 called Purple about the nonprofits. And suddenly the nonprofits are paying for big items for this viewers this channel. One viewer said that he, within 24 hours, got rent approved from United Way. Another viewer yesterday, I keep on forgetting to mention this, said tell viewers St. Vincent de Paul has its own rent program that's set up beautifully, got approved right away. Another viewer got money for a new furnace and a new refrigerator and a window fixed. Understand, these are the 5 nonprofits. They do things each differently. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. They're also featured in the newsletter. What's important to remember is that the nonprofits are not the government, so the eligibility is different. You don't have to be behind on the rent or the mortgage sometimes. They also do different things. They pay for money for food or clothing, sometimes an appliance. They just homelessness into shelters. They do wonderful God's work. Again, the 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Finally, if you need some holiday gifts for your family, reach out to Salvation Army now. They start doing September and October. All right, let's turn to SNAP. SNAP is money for food. You get it from the Department of Agriculture. It pays a lot. And Mark's brother-in-law going from $21,000 to $26,000. Department of Agriculture is raising everyone's benefits for SNAP up an average of 25% automatically starting in October. Now, this has caused a massive realm of confusion. Why? Because there's 2 letters coming from SNAP. The first one is saying the prior lift up from the 2 executive orders is ending. And people are getting the first letter and panicking. There's going to be a second letter that says your benefits are all going up an average of 25% starting in October. So watch for that second letter. Then those unemployment benefits, yes, the states are paying back those unemployment benefits due to computer error. Average payment is $2,000 to $5,000. Reach out to your state for tracking. And then the refund check from the federal government due to your payment on that 2020 tax return for unemployment benefits. Average payment is $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. If you got this money, post in the live chat. You can track it at irs.gov on the tracking tool. 70% of the time it works. If you got in any of these sums of money, post it in the live chat right now, because when you do, you inspire other people to get these big sums of money. Finally, if you haven't become a Purple Hawk, please do. Daily at night, I deliver the newsletter to Purple Hawks members of this channel. It's been upgraded now because now it includes not only first, second, and third stimulus money for you to get, but also the nonprofits. Also, you want to see what's proposed under fourth. Some of the items on fifth look like they may get under fourth stimulus. It's important to realize because this is how people are getting big sums of money from this channel. Like Mark, $51,000. Johnny, $80,000. $85,000. Jen, just last week, $40,000 for rent. Lorraine, $105,000. Several people that Mark helped, over $45,000. Several people that Johnny helped, over $100,000. People getting big sums of money. I want you to get these big sums of money as well. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of this video with the world exclusive. More about it starting right now. It was delivered late last night on LATE News. We'll go over the details of this starting right now. 1, staffers tell viewers of this channel that negotiations are near complete for the inclusion of a stimulus check, that it will be monthly, and that the amount will be $1,000 the first month, $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. It's important to understand that if you look back to earlier this year, people were saying there's nothing in there. It's just infrastructure. No, there is money in there. And then once the infrastructure came out, then people said, I don't think they're ever going to give us anything. They are. Then there was a lot of people said, I don't see them doing a stimulus check. What was at issue was that the Democrats had put in writing and even written a bill that there would be monthly stimulus checks. Now, we know that sometimes legislators don't keep their promise. So we pushed. And at the time, there was no place in the United States, anywhere, that was staying on top of the subject like here. This was the very first channel to record a video with a title for stimulus, because I told you there would be for stimulus, and then I told you they were saying they were going to be giving you stimulus IRS checks. And it started with me telling you to advocate, picking up the phone and advocating. And it started 8 weeks ago when WR, a longtime viewer of this channel, picked up the phone and called Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's oldest confidant, and advocated vigorously for a stimulus check. And Senator Chris Coons' office 8 weeks ago said, yes, he's putting a provision in there for a monthly stimulus check, world exclusive. And yet some people said, but that's just one office. It's just one office. They're not going to agree to it. I said, fine, we're going to push some more. And it came 3 weeks ago when I showed viewers the importance of understanding there's a House Budget Committee and Senate Budget Committee. The House Budget Committee wrote the 645 pages, as we saw last week. I had been reporting 3 months ago they were going to do so. I also reported to you that Bernie Sanders got you the $3.65 trillion price tag. He negotiated for that number. He actually asked for $7 trillion. He agreed to 3.5. He was fine with that number. But I also showed you that he's chairman of the Senate Budget Committee. And 3 weeks ago, he gave us a pivotal quote. The pivotal quote said, unlike prior budget chairmen in D.C., I like to get out amongst the people when I'm writing a budget bill. I said that translates as he wants to hear from you. You need to advocate. And at the time, I showed you where, how, and what to advocate for. I said, pick up the phone and call Senator Bernie Sanders. Explain to him why you need it. Not a lot of people did. A lot of people were saying not going to happen. But Margaret heard me. She called. Lynn Glenn called. And Brother Joshua called at the time. Brother Joshua is a longtime volunteer to the community page. 2020 volunteer. Got people a lot of money. Purple Hawk. And also longtime viewer since day one. He advocated. The face of advocacy was shown on this channel day in, day out. A lot of people have never seen advocacy. They don't know what advocacy is. And now I'm so proud of two individuals in the last 48 hours because their advocacy shows how people have really stepped up. Margaret advocated so vigorously for stimulus checks in calling a Senate staffer 2 days ago that she broke down and cried on the phone, and the staffer cried with her. The advocacy continued with this viewer whose name I'm withholding for privacy concerns. She said she picked up the phone and told the staffer, I lost my husband during the pandemic. I've had 10 surgeries during the pandemic. I've had to raise 2 teenage daughters during the pandemic. And all I have is an SSI-DI check. It ain't going to cut it. That was the type of advocacy that this channel was bred on. This channel got a second stimulus check for Americans because I came up with the idea of CR for stimulus, inserting a stimulus check in a continuing resolution bill. Never done in the history of this channel, never done in the history of this government. I said, do it. You advocated for it, and they got it in there. We started the advocacy for this stimulus check so we could help the rest of Americans, and it started again with Brother Joshua. He picked up the phone and advocated to Bernie Sanders' office, saying, I need it for myself, my family, my church. And Sanders' office 3 weeks ago saying, yes, Bernie will be doing it. Monthly, $1,000 to $1,400, 3 to 6 months was what Bernie wanted. But he wanted to have your support. World exclusive. And yet some people said, but that's just Bernie. It's just Bernie. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. I said, you know what? Advocate. And Donnie opened up the floodgates. Donnie really opened up the floodgates because suddenly people started picking up the phone and calling hour after hour, day after day. Donnie calling Bernie Sanders' office saying, I need it. Advocating, I need it. My city needs it. I need it. I need it to progress. I need it for my water bill. I need it for everything. And Sanders' office saying, yes, he's doing a monthly stimulus check. Hurricane Tina, after everything she's gone through in the last month, picking up the phone and advocating and saying, and Sanders saying, yes, he's doing a monthly stimulus check. Carolyn, who's in the morning's countdown show, saying people are losing their home. They're losing everything they got. And Sanders' office saying, yes, he's doing a stimulus check monthly. Yaya, everything she's endured, picking up the phone and calling Ron Wyden, who early on said he would do it. Staffers for Ron Wyden said he is inserting a stimulus check and may consider SS-200. The advocacy continued day in, day out from this channel. When a lot of people else weren't doing anything but holding a donut, we were advocating for the rest of Americans. We're out here helping Americans. And the help came from Will, who picked up the phone and called not one, but 3 offices. Will showed us you don't call one office, you call as many as your fingers can call. He called Bernie, he called Chuck, and he called Liz. His plea to Elizabeth Warren's office is perhaps the most compelling. During his conversation with Liz Warren's office, Senator Warren's staffer said, absolutely, she's proposing $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months of monthly stimulus checks. That's consistent with the other reporting which I've had in this video, which is what Pelosi and a lot of other people wanted to do. They wanted the monthly as $1,400, but they couldn't get the $1,400, they could get $1,000. And they couldn't get the 12 months, but they could get the 6 months. Lorica's comment is absolutely overwhelming. Now, this is a week ago, remember. She said at the time, Bob Casey's office said he's inserting a stimulus check and that they're near finalizing the negotiations. That was by the end of last week. We had all the senators, Schumer, Casey, Coons, Warren, Sanders. But I said, gotta hit up the House members. You gotta call AOC, Omar, Jayalapal, and Pelosi. And then it started rolling. Paul picked up the phone and called AOC's office late last week, and AOC's office confirming monthly stimulus check would be included at $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000, 6 to 12 months. Then Janice, who I think is in the live chat right now, picked up the phone and called Jayalapal's office, and they said yes, doing 4th stimulus check. At that point, we had Jayalapal and AOC, but we didn't have Omar. And for 3 days, I said to viewers, pick up the phone and call Omar. Call Omar. And now it's coming on in. The details for Omar came in overnight as Paul called Omar's office, and Omar said $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000, and also Ida in a separate phone call, separate viewer, separate conversation. Omar's office confirming $1,000 for 6 months after the first month of $2,000, and Lynn Glenn, bless her soul, picking up the phone and calling again, this time to Jayalapal's office, and getting that confirmation. This is what advocacy looks like. This is what history is about. People were saying you weren't going to get anything, that it was only about roads and bridges, that there was never going to be anything for you. People literally wanted to tell you, don't use the telephone, don't make the call. And it was when I realized that we needed to focus, we needed to do what we needed to do, we needed to make history. Comments went off on this channel. They went off because we knew what we needed to do, and we didn't need to have people to tell us, don't ask. We didn't need to have people tell us, don't push. We need to push, and ultimately, the success is in the pudding. Now, let's turn briefly to the debt ceiling limit and 4th stimulus to the time, in a short period of time that's still, a 5th stimulus, time is still remaining. 5th stimulus heats up later this year. Raises your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, removes the marriage penalty, removes the income cap, and removes the asset cap. They'll likely get to this vote by about November in a separate bill. And this will raise your benefits up a lifetime, then apply a new benchmark. If it's 5%, you'll rise up another 5%, not just next year, but a lifetime. Then the debt ceiling limit. The important thing about the debt ceiling limit covered really in depth yesterday is the following. 1, the debt ceiling limit has nothing to do with your recon. Why? Because the debt ceiling limit has to do with paying bills on existing laws. 4th stimulus is not a law yet, so that's why it has nothing to do with paying for an existing law. This is not existing law yet. Number 2, it has nothing to do with the work schedule of the Democrats either. Pelosi was very smart. She got the debt ceiling limit bill done. It's already out of the House. It's gone into the Senate. So the people who write stuff, who are writing the remaining potential 8,000 pages of reconciliation budget bill, their table's clear. They don't have to do the debt ceiling limit anymore. They wrote what they got to write. It's off. It's gone. Number 3, it has absolutely no impact on you receiving your benefits checks at the moment. If you're a recipient of anything from the federal government on a monthly or weekly or daily basis, whether it's Social Security, SSI or SSDI, you're an active member of the military, you're a federal employee, your checks will arrive on time. Debt ceiling limit deadlines often pass and they don't get it done. It's only if the debt ceiling limit issue is still an issue on this channel being covered in almost November, past Thanksgiving, early December, then it becomes an issue. It doesn't become an issue at all in September if they go a few days over the deadline, a few weeks over the deadline. Very, very important, because I know this is a big topic. I've covered it twice and before on this channel when they miss the deadline. And with that, let's recap, because there's a lot going on in this recording. It's important to understand that this channel came together as one family, and as one family made history under second stimulus. When I came up with the idea as the author on this channel to insert a stimulus check into a CR, people thought I was bonkers. They told me I was bonkers. I said, I don't care. And that stimulus check, the $600, the second one, was the result of this channel. Now, once again, after months of enduring people telling you, don't call, don't ask, won't happen, won't be there, House, Senate, Democrat after Democrat, confirming to thousands of viewers of this channel that there is that insertion of a provision of a stimulus check, you now see what's happened. We have AOC, we have Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, Wyden, confirming to viewers of this channel there's an MSC inclusion of a provision. We have AOC and Jayalapal confirming the same, and now for the first time on Mornings LALATE, Omar. We have Pelosi's office confirming to multiple viewers, Mark, Paul, Dragon, late yesterday, that Pelosi was part of the negotiations, that Pelosi tried to get $1,400 a month over a year, couldn't get a year, got 6 months, and couldn't get $1,400, got $1,000. We, of course, have the Senate Democrats like Warren who wanted a bigger payout monthly. The reason why people newborn to 17 won't get this check is because you're getting the CTC check covered earlier in this video, the child care check, which is that up to $3,600 check per year. Remember, you must push to the finish line, because until we're over the finish line, we're not over the finish line. Contact Omar's office today. Tell your viewers, your friends and neighbors and family to come over here. Be proud of what you did, but don't stop doing what you're doing. People wanted to tell you no. You can now tell them yes. Tell them to watch this channel. Tell them to come on over. Tell them to be part of this family, and you should be proud. Ultimately, that time may come when the donut guy puts down the donut and looks in his hand and realizes something landed in his hand. He may never give you the credit for what you did, but you should be happy for what you did for that donut guy. And with that, I'll see you next on Noontime. This video will automatically take you to Noontime starting at 11 a.m. And then I'm back with you at 1 o'clock for Afternoons LA, a brand new Afternoons LA show at 3 o'clock, and a brand new Evenings LA show at 5 o'clock. Then our full schedule of programming tonight, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11:30. I want you part of this incredible family, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Make sure you subscribe right today. Like the video, 3,000 likes. Every like helps in the algorithm's ranking. And consider becoming a member. The link is under the video, so you get that newsletter nightly. And consider sign up for those LA alerts. It's at news.la.com/alerts, totally free, so you can alert when something happens. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful morning. The toast is toasted and the butter is buttering, and I'll be here next with you at noon.